Place your bets at gg.bet. Most popular esports titles. Deposit with convenient payment options. Cool mini games. And 24/7 support for players. Sign up now for the best esports bets at gg.bet.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the StarSeries Qualifier. Of course, we are still in Group B. We are still with our elimination match. And yeah, we're going to be going into Map 2, which is the choice of 3D Max, and will be Inferno. And I have to be honest, I don't really see this going any other way than, well, with them. I think they're going to be going into that decider match, because Nemiga, although they managed to show stuff on their T side, it was sketchy on their CT side, and I feel like that's going to be important on this map. And well, 3D Max starting T side again. Straight into our pistol round. It is going to be, wow, a slaughter already, as Jinx is now the only one left alive. He's got the bomb and will be able to plant it, so it should allow them an early buy. He's going to try and defend it, but instead a little bit of a one-way by MDS is going to get him his second kill. And I have to say, he's one of those sort of only real win factors I see for Nemiga at the moment, because he was excellent. MDS played really well in that first map. Him and Robo started to sort of drag things back for Nemiga on the T side. But I don't know, I just really wasn't impressed by the CT side. And what was the other way around? Oh, yeah, their CT side. I think they only managed to win the pistol, a couple of follow-up rounds. Oh, you can bet on whether the rounds will be odd or even. Now I like how they put the roll of the dice, because that is literally, that is luck. So if you're a lucky person, maybe your name's lucky. Actually, wait, he can't bet on this. But if you're also called lucky, then yeah, you can go for it. But just make sure you don't jinx it. Either way, T side, not going to invest much into this one. Jax has decided to go for a CZ. The rest of the team, well, even less. He does actually manage to take down MDS, someone I was just praising, but there you go. Hit mouse. Very easy couple of kills. Roman, well, he thinks he's done too much, so he's actually going to put him down at the end. And will make things a little bit more costly. And although in most rounds that doesn't matter too much, in this one it actually brings Nemiga ever closer to a reset, because this is where the AKs actually come into play, or in the most part. You do have David P. Just going to make sure they do have that extra utility. And, well, they've got themselves a few smokes as well. Now, the CT side, yeah, the buy is good for them, but the problem is in the next round. If they do lose this one, they are going to be struggling. They're also left in that sort of limbo position where they're around sort of 1,700, and you add some money into that, and you almost want to risk a buy. But the fact is, that's if they lose it. Already, Roman is down and out, an aggressive play. He was on an MP9, so understandable. But it doesn't pay off. And now 3D Max have been given the time and space. Just play patiently. A little bit of aggression coming out from MDS. He was the star performer, at least on their CT side. They managed to get 6 rounds. I think only one of them, maybe 2, was a buy round. Every other one was with pistols, or their opponent didn't have a buy, considering the early half. But do have Jax. Jax is definitely a player worth watching in this round, because if the rest of the team do go pushing in towards B, which by the looks of it they're not going to, now that I've said it, but he was ready and holding for any sort of rotations. A lot of aggression coming out from the CTs, but, well, he does catch them anyway. They need information. They go hunting for it. And, yep, I think the remaining 2 players have no choice but to save here. Nemiga will just look to hold on to their rifles. Be interested to see how much money they do actually have left, if there's maybe a player or 2 with some extra cash. Other than that, it doesn't get much better than this for 3D Max. Their early round buy has every single player alive at the moment, but are they going to go on the hunt? They've actually got 4 rifles as well, because David P has found one along the way. And by the looks of things, they are not content with just winning the round. They want to remove every single piece of weaponry from their opponents as well. Jinx. Still hunting. Not worth throwing away a weapon for. Oh, if they just had an HE or something here, it would be a very easy kill. But 3D Max not going to be able to remove those remaining weapons. And see, this is what I mean, the sort of dicey position. Because Hitmouse can drop a rifle. Roman could buy an SMG, and then there's one player on a pistol. And then the next round, it would still have a similar sort of scenario. So, yeah, it's not going to be the end of the world. I'm actually going to drop a FAMAS and a UMP instead. And they're still deciding a little bit too late into the round for my liking what they're actually going to be doing, which has not worked out too well from a lot of players still in the spawn. If they had gone for a fast B there, Nemiga would be absolutely screwed. But luckily for them, 3D Max are not just going to go running into the blender. Although I say that, the one man that's there, Hitmouse, had to fall all the way back. He's called for a couple of rotations as all 5 players are on banana. I don't know how many he spotted or heard. They are actually just going to go pushing right into the side. Smokes falling as they walk in, which is always nice to see. Nice shot from Hitmouse to at least get one. Both players blind, and it's close, but Lucky will save them. Then a second push through the smoke, and, well, the T's have come out on top. I will say they have been a little bit lucky, because it looked like there was opportunities for both players to get a couple of kills. Are we going to get a third player running through the smoke? No. By the looks of things, Fast will fade away, and unfortunately, the little tag that he gained from the Flames will give all the information over to 3D Max. So they should know at least roughly where he is. Maka doesn't get caught in the end, and, well, that is going to be the reset now. Nemiga invested everything into that round, and because of that, in this one, they're left with not very much. CT side, well, they've gone for the straight-up A stack, and actually it's going to be a straight-up A push from the T's. There's a decent chance for a lot of damage here, and that's exactly what will happen. Fast takes a couple, and it gets a bit too close for comfort. In the end, they will win themselves the round on the French side, but not without cost. Last couple of rounds have enabled them to build up a bit of a bank, though. Mainly the early round win, and the 5 players surviving that. But now we get to see Nemiga in with the purchase once more. CT side deciding to send a bit of a heavier presence over towards Banana this time. I imagine Robo may be setting up some sort of flash. Seems very passive. Maybe just playing more of a rotator role. Both players on short as well. Leaves Arch fairly open. Well, eventually Robo will start his rotation back. The question is, will it be too little too late? As the T's are already looking to go out of the apartments. Jack's throwing out some utility. Did they even spot Jinx? He's on the site. Like, he's walked all the way into the site. I don't know how he's managed to get there without dying. Eventually, no, he's still alive. How does he do that? He doesn't take a single point of damage. I don't know if, like, the Molotov made a sound or something that they didn't hear him drop, but he jumped out of the apartments, ran into the site, and then didn't even take a point of damage. That is mad. I don't know how he's got away with that one. Roman, well, left as a sort of in no man's land. No chance of him winning this round. More important thing is, can he actually hold on to his weapon? Jinx, well, he's the one feeling lucky at the moment. Just gonna make sure that nobody is looking to sneak in. And we are actually gonna see tactical pause called by Nemiga. I think they don't want it to get out of control like it did last time. Like, we saw them win the pistol next couple of rounds and then lose, I think it was 6 in a row to the T side, and their CT side was pretty poor in the end. Like, excluding the pistol, they probably would have been destroyed. And obviously the 1 CZ round, which they managed to steal away, so. Don't want to let this one get out of control. 3D Max T-sides. I've actually looked pretty good. I have been fairly impressed with at least the sort of structure of this team. And I do think that they have a lot of potential. The only worrying thing is I feel like the French scene is in sort of such disarray at the moment that it's very easy for a team like this, like a sort of slightly lower down team in the grand scale of things, to be picked apart if somebody is performing better than the rest. Here we go. Back in. Not a huge investment. Roman obviously saving his rifle, and the remaining players just purchasing up some pistols. I think Olof's already back in base. I think he top fragged the first map he came back. And then they lost to Mouse Sports. Oh, early trade. Roman's rifle actually falls into the hands of the one man who doesn't have Kevlar, which is sort of the luck of the draw, although I suppose they did play Hitmouse and Roman together, so not necessarily luck. Now, in terms of the last few rounds, when they have gone pushing into pistols, it's been too close. 3D Max will have wanted to win those rounds a little bit more comfortably. Jinx. Well, just going to double down. Jax finds another, and this time the crossfire of pistols doesn't manage to achieve anything. Hitmouse probably just going to try and hold on to this rifle. Maybe somebody can drop him over an AWP, or he can just purchase one and allow one of his teammates to build up further utility. Or maybe he'll just keep it for himself and we won't see an AWP, but I think something definitely needs to change, and he's definitely a man who could change it. The fact is, though, is he going to be allowed to hold on to that rifle? Because they know where he is. They know that there was a gun in play. And they're going to make sure that there's no chance of him saving anything else by chucking guns out of the map. It's a simple thing, but always nice to see. And yeah, Hitmouse, well, going to have to get a kill here. Will manage to find the first. There's only one man who can really take him down, and that is Jinx, who has been playing pretty well in this map so far, but Hitmouse takes two. That really not bad at all. Creates some further costs for 3D Max, and more importantly, keeps the rifle. And yeah, he can drop that over to a teammate. MDS will purchase it, but it doesn't actually change their buy at all. He can easily purchase an AWP. Robo will pick up a second. Full utility for the remaining players. Comfortable in the end. But the fact is the T's have already built up quite an economy. Maka, Jax, and Lucky, all with cash to spare. Wow, people still do the 2.5k viewers on major thing. Like, I thought that meme died. That one's lasted way too long. You know, those sort of jokes that were just never funny. That's one of them. And most of them just sort of like, they die out over time. But either way, interesting setup from the CT side. They got 3 players all on towards that short side. I wonder if 2 of them are boosted up. I would guess that they are. The Robo with the AWP, I'm not sure that would be the best thing in the world. Hitmouse has managed to find the opener, and actually David P pushing back in individually. Don't ever think there was much of a chance of him getting away with that. Now they can actually play a bit more of a gamble. I would quite like to see Roman in a slightly more aggressive position if they were going to play this gamble style, but it has worked out wonderfully. Jinx manages a first, but the fact is all the CT side need to do here is trade. MDS using the little gap. The hay bales, and that leaves Maka alone, not going to connect the first shot, and Robo will no-scope him out of the round. It is going to be 5-3. Nemiga back onto the board much earlier than what we saw last time. They will be able to afford a comfortable buy into this round. The same can be said for the T's, though. And actually, I wonder if they're going to pick up the pace a little bit here. Maka has opted away from the AWP. I do feel like Inferno is one of the maps where that is most common. CT side Inferno AWPing, I would say it's normally more of a counter. And actually, there are 2 AWP players, so there's an argument why you would want to have it in play. 4 players into second mid, and, well, MDS, he goes for an aggressive peek with that AWP. Normally, we did actually see Robo with it. I wonder if that was based off just his positioning. Now I think it's going to be based off of HP. And, well, he is actually going to manage to find himself the kill. MDS just runs away and leaves Robo to fight alone, but it's not going to matter too much. As Fast has managed to find a kill and fade away. The man down the bottom of mid has to be a bit more careful. And Sheep will just go fading back towards the B side. So it's going to be a bit more of a 3 versus 3 here. David P hoping that someone will reveal themselves to him. He's going to set up that smoke once again, which quite valuable for actually taking shots over the top. Can clear the pit before anybody can really spot you. Roman, however, will find Lucky, and the peek out from Fast is good. Leaves David P alone. Don't really expect him to be clutching this one out, but he does get himself an opening pick. Looking to try and pre-fire the spot of Roman, but he has to be more careful of MDS than anything else. And Nemiga, they're going to get themselves another round. 4 on their CT side. T's, yeah, they can still buy into this one. Maka and Jack's able to drop. Actually, maybe they're going to go for an AWP, because they're really not. And I suppose they wanted extra utility, because I'm sure Lucky could have just bought himself, and then David P could have been handed an AK, but he's going to be the one to take the hit instead. Gotta be killed. Just the unscope at the wrong time. Now is where the CT side really can look to build into this one. He's just holding at the moment. It's very easy to run out of ideas on Inferno. Especially once the utility builds, it can feel like you're running into a brick wall. Well, that brick wall is starting to be built up by Nemiga. A couple of nades going to go in. More damage done. And while Roman, we've seen some over-aggressive plays, some over-audacious plays from him. And he's been caught once again. It was much more prominent on the previous map. So far, hasn't been so bad. Actually, by the looks of it, the T's have decided to just try and rotate away here. They had the drop on the CT side with a lot of the site under their control. Instead, they tried to fall back over towards the A site. And yeah, the CT side have not really dedicated themselves just yet. Instead, it's turned back to a 4 versus 4, and the advantage that was had by 3D Max is gone. They've got no utility left. They need Lucky to do something here. He's hoping somebody peeks in, but the fact is he needs to be the one to take the fight. CT side really don't have much of a reason to, but it's actually instead Jinx. There's still a second player that they need to get rid of. And while Lucky will do just that, that leaves just 2 CT players remaining. Maka is going to dispatch of one, and what looked like a round that was slowly swinging into the favor of Nemiga ends up with 4 players surviving for 3D Max. I don't really know how they managed to get away with that one. I think the player jumping across really threw off hit mouse on the AWP. And now they're again left in a, well, not great position. I think they'll go for it here. They've been fairly happy to try and throw in SMGs. Either way, this is crunch time for Nemiga. A few rifles alongside the MP9 and UMP. They've got some utility behind it and a couple of kits as well. It's not the worst buy they've had, that's for sure. But the T's now left with everything they could desire once again. And once more, they're playing this passive 4-1. Now, the 4-1 strategy, perfectly fine. I'm not a huge fan when you have one player sitting back like this, because you just don't know. You don't have the information available to you about calling rotations. So this is literally like gambling. You've just put everything on black and just hoping that They are going to push in towards the A site, and they may have just come up trumps because by the looks of it, the T's are going to do just that. That is incredibly lucky. 50-50 chance. Well, 3D Max are going to reward them. Push straight in towards this A site. But why say reward them? Sometimes you may guess correctly, but everything can go wrong. The T's have just found the openers needed. In fact, not a single player will go down. They had a 4-man stack on the A site, and they don't get a single kill. Everything was read right by Nemiga, but the execution from 3D Max was good, and, well, the defense from Nemiga was poor. Hitmouse will at least take one on the exit, but you do have to bear in mind their economy is in the toilet here. It's going to get a little bit worse as Lucky finishes off the remaining Nemiga player. And, well, you can see this is pretty much the bare minimum. Very little in terms of cash saved. In fact, the only reason there's any extra money or anything more than 2,000 is because of the kill that Hitmouse was able to get. Already 7 rounds on the board for the T side. They are in a pretty good position here. An 8th should be inevitable, but the one thing I have to give props to 3D Max for their executions, but at the same time, a lot of these they wouldn't have such trouble if they probed the other side of the map. If they found the information. I know a lot of the time that's easier said than done, but, well, for example, this round. This should just be a run straight back towards the A side. The rest of the team have managed to do it. Fast is actually going to burn alive, but he's taken 2 with him, which all in all is already a fairly successful round, and they still have a chance to rotate back over towards this A site. Hitmouse, however, will be spotted, and Jinx quickly removes any real danger from this round. Even in a sort of fall-by scenario here, these sort of positions would not be great for the CT side, and they're just going to save the AKs. I don't blame them whatsoever. It will mean that 3D Max have taken themselves to half, but if Train was anything to go by, neither of these teams had a particularly good CT side, so we could see a little bit more out of Nemiga on the T side. I will say, though, that I think if 3D Max build up the economy, I think they're screwed. Either way, Nemiga, they're just going to hold on to what they got. Big boost to their economy, as they will now be able to purchase up pretty much whatever they desire. Fast is actually going to go for a glass cannon AWP. I'm praying to God he doesn't drop that over to anyone else. I do not want to see a glass cannon rifle. The T's in terms of finances are absolutely fine, and will be for the next round at least. But at least we now see the utility. And the AKs on the CT side, although just a small factor, it's always nice. Have your weapon of choice, have that one-shot capability. Hitmouse, a little bit audacious with his push, and he's just getting absolutely ruined by grenades here. If he manages to survive, I'll be very surprised. Well, there you go. It's normally Roman the one with the over-aggression and what? Spraying through the smoke. The tracers give him away. One thing that the Silenced M4 does have, it's not particularly good, but does mean that you don't have those tracers. 9th round almost guaranteed, as Nemiga are forced to just hold on to what they've got. And yeah, both players there just caught out by some slight over-aggression. I will say that for Hitmouse, it seemed like he was a little bit unlucky. As the grenade that came in afterwards did the majority of the damage, but the fact is, 3D Max, they're going to have another flawless round. It'll mean that they can easily buy, well, I say to the end of the half, there's only a couple more rounds left, and they, even if they lose the next one, they've got so much money. But even if there were more rounds than that, they would comfortably be able to buy. Fast will at least be able to take one down. Now, the T's don't really have that much to lose here, so I'm a little bit disappointed they don't go and hunt a little bit more. Like, there's no chance of them being reset. I guess maybe they didn't want to hand an AK or two over to their opponents. Either way, 9-4. Strong T side already on Inferno. Come on. CT side again. Looking for his control over Banana. A lot of it does seem quite reactive, though. After how poorly it went in the last round, it just seems that they've just gone, okay, let's chuck another player over there. Although I will say that their A-side defense, although not much better, has looked better than what's been going on B. A lot of B just seems to be go aggressive, try and take the fights. And although for Robo it's worked out, the two players who've actually been playing the B site, Hitmouse and Roman, died without getting anything done at all. So all they've really done is just switch Robo over and him go, look guys, I can still get frags. But other than that, been fairly poor. A little bit of a gap, I believe, in that smoke. And, well, we will have Robo just going absolutely ham. He's got himself a 4th kill already. Mac are going to try and stop him from getting the ace. But no, it's happened again. I think that's both times now that an ace has come in this series, and both times it's been Robo to get it. A standout player for sure. Having some beast rounds. And realistically, like, that's the second time that just a round has come out of absolutely nowhere, and it's all thanks to him. Both players who were meant to defend the B site died with nothing, and he finds all 5. Stellar performance. An important round gained. Of course, as said, the T's absolutely no trouble in purchasing into this one. I'm getting some sort of deja vu here, a pistol win that sort of pads out Nemiga's rounds a little bit more. And then a few heroic plays that save them the embarrassment. A lot of utility damage done, though, in this round. Jinx and David P, and even Lucky tagged. Timing for Robo is perfect. That's his 6th kill in a row. Without a death. If he can continue this on anymore, you'd have to be a bit worried. Lucky is going to spot the AWP of Hitmouse, who again is the solo player. Jinx will trade, but it's still going to be a man advantage at the moment. Roman, well, audacious, but it works. However, Jax has managed to sneak his way in towards this pit position. Round the back, it's a little bit peculiar at the moment for 3D Max, as they couldn't really be more separated. They're hoping that one of them can make a sort of big individual play. With no control over the bomb, it's going to be fairly difficult. Jax, not quite going to get the timing onto Roman there, who actually is going to go down, and Jax gets the second as well. A quick turnaround in this round, and they know where the AWP is as well. This is all the information that's necessary for them to get onto the A side. Jax feeling confident, pushing through, and he finds 4 kills at the end of that one. Big round from Jax. Will make things 10-5. And well, what was looking like a 9-6 scenario, again, just big individual plays coming up. 13-6 for Jax. And well, actually a much more sort of spread. Again, though, Roman bottom of the board. And this time MDS is not having that same stellar performance. Obviously, still a chance for him to turn things around going into the T side. And that is where I do expect a little bit more from the Nemiga. Their CT sides look bad on train, and that was their map choice. And going into Inferno, the CT side is much more about synergy, and his team doesn't seem to have a lot of synergy. I think it's much more about individual plays. That's where the T side can help them thrive. 2 CZs actually purchased with a couple of smokes for 3D Max. Early nade does a little bit of damage to Lucky. Not anything to write home about. And actually, this is looking like a much more aggressive play towards the A site. Although, a lot of the time you do see teams do this with apartments where they just go, they make a lot of noise, and then they fall back towards the B site. Don't want to overcommit. David P, Maka will be the ones defending it. And they have actually pulled a rotation. Jax is already over towards that arch side. David P pushing into the apartments goes down very early. And, well, Lucky shouldn't get away with that, but he does. Finds himself an opener, but is very quickly traded. And actually, he was the solo defender of the B site and is going to call a rotation back. I think Jax did actually spot ahead of somebody. And oh, it seems like the CT side are just being pulled all over the place at the moment. T's Looking like they are going to gather up towards the banana. Maka rounds the corner into the apps without really looking. Now Jax is going to have to remove this flanker before anything more can be done, and he's going to fail. It will be another pistol round on the board for Nemiga. That's 3 out of the possible 4 won. Now they have a chance to actually build into this T side. CTs actually going very heavy on utility. I do like to see this with CT sides, especially on Inferno. The only thing I will say is a lot of the time I prefer these sort of plays with a bit of a save in play. Like, get yourself the utility into your buy rounds. It's all well and good having it now. If you can steal the round away, great. If you lose it though, then you're still going to go into your buy round with a weak purchase anyway. I'm not liking the buy that we're seeing from Nemiga. This is risky. This is more than risky. The fact is, Fast has the same purchase as somebody on the other side. 2 SMGs or 3 SMGs, and then the 1 rifle to save them if things go awfully wrong. And these are the sort of rounds that just straight up pistols can win. So, a little bit worried at the moment for Nemiga. Hitmouse is just going to be the lone man over towards this B site. He's going to try and sell a bit of a fake, but ultimately it still seems like the T's are dedicated to this A site. Robo actually going to switch up and head in towards A. He's the man with the AK. That does almost spade over a rotation from Maka, but he decides to stay on towards this A site. 35 seconds left on the clock as Lucky does spot the 1 man, and Jax is going to take him down. And this should lead the CTs to the knowledge that this is going to be a push towards the site. And they've actually just got themselves nice and close. All going to be gathered up onto the A site itself to push through the smoke. Jinx is going to catch 1. The risks of these buys starting to come alive as Robo looks to round the corner. Is he going to spot Macri? Will, and he may be able to save this for his team. David P, however, he comes up huge. 2 kills for himself and leaves it all onto 1. Robo going absolutely ham. Is this going to be his 2nd ace of the game? It shouldn't be needed. But that 1 AK-47 may be enough to save him. Lucky is going to be rotating in. Robo actually still using the Glock. Actually, that jump, I wonder if that will have given him away. If it will have been heard, he's going to be rounding the corner and Lucky's going to take him down. I said about the risks, and even with a quad kill from Robo, every other player, the 3 SMGs, the 1 pistol, gets absolutely nothing done. The bomb plant may give Nemiga a reason to force here, but they're already down. They're already a map down. This is an elimination match. This is not where I want to be seeing those risks. This is where I want to see them go, okay, look, we have the chance to actually build into this one. Let's just make sure that we win the round. Instead, they go for an incredibly risky strategy, pointed out at the time, and they've now ended up with what is a sketchy buy beyond belief. If anything, it's better than the last buy, though. David P, he's picking up an XM. Jax, well, I'm not sure what just happened there. He does actually manage to take one after he's dead, which is something. And Robo is just in God mode at the moment. 3 kills, 7 in the last 2 rounds. Rifle can be retrieved by David P at least. He's got to be careful he's not caught out while he walks away, because MDS has already made his way out of the apartments. And actually, looks like they may have the wrong read on this one. Can be rotating over towards the B site, and it is the plant going down on A. It looks like Nemiga will be able to just bounce straight back from this one. I can't really see a reason for 3D Max to go for this one. But it is all down to Robo. Like, without him, they would be pretty much out of this map already. An ace, which wins them around they shouldn't have had on their CT side. A quad kill, which does a hell of a lot of damage in the last round, well, even though they should have won that round. And then a triple kill, which pretty much puts this one to bed. A couple of rifles saved from 3D Max. They may go for a pause once again. Well, not a pause, a buy, sorry. Although a pause may not be the worst thing in the world for either side. Just try and slow things down a little bit. And they are going to risk it. CZs for the majority. A couple of rifles to play with as well. T-side just spread across the map. They're going to be trying to wait for any sort of aggression. Now, we've already seen them lose around to pistols in this half. Well, they are looking like they're about to gather up in towards this B site. Play this one as a team. Lucky and Jinx have to try and defend it. One of the AKs is here. Lucky just going to be that first point of contact. They do actually have a little bit of utility to play with. Actually just going to try and throw down the smokes, but I imagine we're just going to see the T side look to try a run straight through it. Jinx left completely blind, will try to spray through the smoke. He actually does manage to fade away and get one, but the fact is the T's have already overtaken the site. Almost. Actually, Jinx does get a second through the smoke. Not the player he was aiming for, but that's something to say the least. They've done a decent amount of damage here. Incendiary going to go out to try and clear out the backlines, which it will do, and Jinx catches another one. They're actually doing very well in this retake. Only 2 players left. Jinx with another. He's now looking to try and add an ace to his tally, and well, there we go. 3rd ace already in the series. 2 for Roman, 1 for Jinx. And it is going to be a 12th round. The backwards and forwards nature of this game continues. The T's can afford to buy into this one. They'll get the AKs in hand. Question is, can they keep this trend going? Well, if they do, they'll lose, but can they at least break back? That's the big thing for Nemiga. They lose this one, and, well, this will have bit them quite hard. T-side just going to go running in towards the A side, but a very passive pit hold. It's only really Maka going a little bit more aggressive. The nature of this game has meant that he hasn't been able to get his AWP too often. He's going to try and use the smoke to his advantage, but the fact is he's left without much vision at all. Roman, in the meantime, at least trying to hold players over towards this side. Jinx needs to save his buddy, and that's exactly what he'll do. And David P, in the meantime, finds a couple of kills. In fact, make that 3. It's left all onto Robo. He's had himself an ace. In fact, 2 in this series. And he's going to try and go for a 3rd. But Jax will not allow it. It is going to be 13-7. Now the money starts to play a factor in this one. Well, David P, he's going to try this again. The XM. Big fan of the shotgun. In fact, we've actually got Jax pushing all the way into middle. They should have all the information here, and they are going to go running in towards Maka. How many can he get? That's the question. Only 1, actually. Well, actually make it a 2nd. A martyrdom play. This time, the XM not really anywhere near the action. 14-7, as the T's will now get themselves another buy on the ball, but it may be their last, as 3D Max have hit 14. Of course, if they do win this map, they will close out, or knock out, I should say, Nemiga from this qualifier. And they will then face off against the loser of Fours and Tempo Storm, which will be coming up after this. Of course, our 2nd best of 3 of the night. Nemiga finally gets his AWP. Not something we've been able to see so far. Means they are going to go for a 3-man defense and actually take control of apartments as well. It's quite an aggressive stance, but hey, David P, he's going to put that XM to good use. Managing to get himself the first kill. And, well, all the information has been heard. Roman is going to find Jinx in the meantime, and looking like they may try and wrap back round, but look at the position of Lucky. It's a valuable one if he doesn't get wrecked by timing, but he gets away with it. In fact, finds 2 kills. Finally, he'll be put to bed by Roman. Jax has to be careful here. Well, never mind. It's MDS who looks away at the wrong time, and now Roman is left 1 versus 3, and he can't get anything done. 15-7. It is just going to be a force bite to try and bring this back. Nemiga needing 8 rounds in a row, and yeah, those statistics are fair at this point. If you do still believe, a 13.5 odds are not bad. I will say you could probably make that quite a bit higher, though, at this point. When you look at the buy, you look at how 3D Max have been playing. They haven't really looked too troubled, at least in this map. In the last map, it was quite a bit closer. Once again, they're going to go for this heavy defense in towards B. Nade is perfect. Roman going to feel that one. But actually, it's the remaining players over towards the other side of the map that's going to do a lot of damage. Deep banana control has been taken, which normally you'd expect will mean that there's a bit more of a rotation. In fact, they're going to continue to push. This is risky from Lucky, but nobody watching, nobody expecting anybody to go that aggressive. And he may even get a second one. MDS low through the smoke. Jinx picks off another, and now it's left onto MDS to try and hold on to things here. It's not going to happen. 3D Max dominate the second map, 16-7, and it is going to mean that they go through to the decider match. Of course, we will be waiting a little bit of time to find out who's going to join them in the decider match, as we do have a second best of 3 coming up a little bit later in the day, which will be Fours versus Tempo Storm. At least for now, that is all we got time for, but make sure you come back a little bit later for that best of 3.
Place your bets at gg.bet. Most popular esports titles. Deposit with convenient payment options. Cool mini games. And 24/7 support for players. Sign up now for the best esports bets at gg.bet.